Time has a way of softening memories, but some losses never fade. These are not just names from old films or forgotten headlines. They are voices, faces, and moments that shaped our lives, then vanished far too soon. Tonight, Celebrity Tribute Hub honors Hollywood stars whose lives were taken, not by time, but by tragedy, and whose legacies still live within us. Sharon Tate was a rising star whose grace and warmth embodied Hollywood's promise during a hopeful era. She represented innocence, beauty, and a future filled with untold roles. BR audiences remember her from Valley of the Dolls and The Fearless Vampire Killers, where her charm felt effortless and genuine. Her screen presence suggested a career just beginning to bloom. On August 9, 1969, Sharon was brutally murdered at age 26 in the Manson family attacks. Her death shocked the world and marked the end of Hollywood's golden innocence. Yet Sharon is remembered not for how she died, but for the light she brought, a symbol of dreams forever unfinished. Bob Crane was a beloved television star whose talent brought laughter into millions of homes. He mattered because he represented comfort, familiarity, and joy during television's golden age. BR audiences adored him as Colonel Hogan in Hogan's Heroes, a role that made him a household name and cultural icon. His comedic timing and warmth made the show timeless. On June 29, 1978, Bob Crane was found murdered at age 49, bludgeoned in a crime that remains haunting. The tragedy stunned fans who knew him only through smiles and laughter. His legacy lives on every time reruns play, reminding us how fragile even joyful lives can be. Rebecca Schaeffer was a young actress whose kindness and promise made her stand out in Hollywood. She mattered because she represented hope, the dream of a new generation finding its place. She became widely known through the sitcom My Sister Sam, where her sincerity resonated deeply with viewers. Her future seemed wide open. On July 18, 1989, Rebecca was shot and killed at age 21 by a stalker outside her home. Her death forever changed Hollywood's understanding of celebrity safety. Rebecca is remembered as a gentle soul whose life helped protect others who followed after her. Dominique Dunne was a rising actress whose talent carried emotional depth beyond her years. She mattered because she brought authenticity and vulnerability to every role she touched. Audiences remember her most from Poltergeist, where her performance added heart to a story of fear and family. On November 4, 1982, Dominique died at age 22 after being strangled. Her loss shook Hollywood and exposed painful truths about domestic violence. Dominique's legacy lives on as a reminder that behind the screen, real lives deserve protection, compassion, and justice. Sal Mineo was a fearless actor who challenged Hollywood norms long before it was safe to do so. He mattered because he gave voice to outsiders and brought emotional honesty to the screen. He is remembered for Rebel Without a Cause and Exodus, performances that earned critical acclaim and lasting respect. On February 12, 1976, Sal Mineo was stabbed to death at age 37 during a robbery. His death silenced a brave and unique voice in cinema. Yet Sal's courage continues to inspire artists who dare to be different. Lana Clarkson was an actress known for her commanding presence and strength on screen. She mattered because she carved space for powerful female characters in genre films. Audiences remember her from cult classics like Barbarian Queen, where she stood tall and fearless. On February 3, 2003, Lana was shot and killed at age 40 in a tragedy that captured worldwide attention. Her death became a symbol of how fame and power can collide with devastating consequences. Lana's legacy remains one of resilience, strength, and quiet dignity. Adrienne Shelley was an actress and filmmaker whose voice reflected honesty, humor, and humanity. She mattered because she told stories that felt personal and real. She is remembered for Waitress, a film that later became a beloved cultural touchstone. On November 1, 2006, Adrienne died at age 40, taken in a senseless act of violence. Her passing devastated the independent film community. Yet her work continues to comfort audiences, reminding us how art can outlive tragedy. Judith Barcy was a child actress whose voice and talent touched millions. She mattered because even at a young age her performances carried warmth and emotional depth. She is forever remembered as the voice of Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. On July 25, 1988, Judith was tragically killed at just 10 years old. Her death remains one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking losses. Judith's gentle voice still echoes, a reminder of innocence lost too soon. Elizabeth Short was a young actress whose name became forever tied to Hollywood mystery. She mattered because her story exposed the dark side beneath Hollywood's glitter. Known posthumously as the Black Dahlia, her life and death inspired countless books and films. On January 15, 1947, Elizabeth was murdered at age 22 in one of America's most infamous unsolved cases. Her death shocked the nation and haunted Hollywood. Elizabeth remains a symbol of dreams unmet and truth still unanswered. Ronnie Chasen was one of Hollywood's most respected publicists, shaping careers from behind the scenes. She mattered because she helped create the stars we loved. She represented actors, filmmakers, and studios with loyalty and passion. On November 16, 2010, Ronnie was shot and killed at age 64 in a crime that remains unresolved. Her death stunned the entertainment industry. But Ronnie's legacy lives quietly in the careers she helped build and the lives she touched. Paul Byrne was a powerful Hollywood film producer who helped shape the early studio system. He mattered because his creative influence helped define classic cinema behind the scenes. As a producer at MGM, he worked on prestigious films and guided major stars during Hollywood's formative years. His vision helped elevate filmmaking as an art. On September 5, 1932, Paul Byrne died at age 44, officially ruled a homicide. His death shocked the industry and fueled decades of speculation. Paul Byrne's legacy lives quietly in the foundations of Hollywood storytelling he helped build. Peg Entwistle was a talented actress whose dreams mirrored those of countless hopefuls drawn to Hollywood. She mattered because her story became a lasting symbol of ambition and heartbreak. She appeared in theater productions and the film 13 Women, showing promise despite limited opportunity. On September 16, 1932, Peg died at age 24, her death officially investigated as a murder-related tragedy. Her passing exposed the crushing pressures of Hollywood dreams. Peg Entwistle remains a haunting reminder of hope, vulnerability, and unfulfilled potential. Teresa Duncan was an actress, writer, and creative mind who lived boldly and spoke fearlessly. She mattered because she represented independent thought in an industry that often resists it. Her work spanned film, writing, and interactive media, earning admiration for originality rather than fame. On July 10, 2007, Teresa died at age 42 in a homicide-linked death. Her passing remains complex and deeply unsettling. Teresa's legacy endures as a voice that refused to be silenced or simplified. David Huffman was a young actor whose career showed promise during Hollywood's transition era. He mattered because his journey reflected the fragile reality of life beyond fame. He appeared in films such as Blowout and Visiting Hours, leaving quiet but memorable impressions. On February 7, 1985, David was shot and killed at age 29. His sudden death stunned those who knew his gentle nature. David Huffman is remembered as a life interrupted before its story could fully unfold. George Reeves was a television icon whose face defined heroism for a generation. He mattered because he became America's Superman long before superheroes ruled cinema. Audiences adored him as Clark Kent in Adventures of Superman, a role that shaped early television history. On June 16, 1959, George died at age 45, officially ruled a homicide. His death shocked fans who saw him as invincible. George Reeves remains forever remembered as a symbol of hope, strength, and mystery. Marilyn Monroe was Hollywood's most luminous icon, representing beauty, vulnerability, and longing. She mattered because she changed how the world saw stardom and femininity. Her unforgettable performances in Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes remain timeless. On August 4, 1962, Marilyn died at age 36, with homicide long suspected. Her death shocked the world and ended an era. Marilyn's legacy lives on in her humanity, not just her image. Thomas Ince was a pioneering film producer whose innovations shaped modern filmmaking. He mattered because he helped establish the structure of Hollywood production itself. As a silent-era titan, Ince influenced storytelling, budgeting, and studio efficiency across the industry. On November 19, 1924, Thomas died at age 44 under disputed circumstances involving homicide. His death remains one of Hollywood's earliest great mysteries. Ince's influence still echoes through the language of cinema today. Peggy Castle was a versatile actress who brought strength and elegance to classic Hollywood roles. She mattered because she navigated fame with quiet determination. She appeared in films like The White Orchid and Beginning of the End, earning steady respect. On August 29, 1973, Peggy died at age 45 in a homicide-related case. Her passing received far less attention than it deserved. Peggy Castle's legacy remains woven into Hollywood's golden years. Ron Goldman was a young actor whose life intersected with one of Hollywood's most infamous cases. He mattered because his story represents an innocent life lost to violence. He pursued acting while working to support his dreams, striving for a future on screen. On June 12, 1994, Ron was stabbed to death at age 25. His death shocked the nation and changed media history forever. Ron Goldman is remembered for who he was, not the headlines surrounding him. John Lennon was a cultural force whose voice changed music, art, and activism. He mattered because his words shaped generations across the world. As a member of the Beatles and a solo artist, his songs became global anthems of peace. On December 8, 1980, John was shot and killed at age 40. His death stunned humanity itself. John Lennon's legacy lives on every time the world chooses hope over hate. Marvin Gaye was one of the most influential voices in music history, a singer who transformed soul into truth. He mattered because his music spoke honestly about love, pain, and social struggle. Songs like What's Going On and Let's Get It On became timeless reflections of the human experience. His voice carried both vulnerability and strength. On April 1, 1984, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed at age 44. His death stunned the world and silenced a revolutionary artist. Yet Marvin's legacy still plays softly and powerfully, reminding us that music can heal even after tragedy. Sam Cooke was a trailblazing singer whose smooth voice helped shape modern soul music. He mattered because he opened doors for generations of black artists. Hits like A Change Is Gonna Come and You Send Me became anthems of hope and resilience. His music carried quiet strength. On December 11, 1964, Sam Cooke was shot and killed at age 33. His death cut short a transformative career. Sam Cooke's legacy lives on wherever music dares to speak truth and dream of justice. Selena Quintanilla was a cultural icon whose voice united generations. She mattered because she brought Latin music into the global spotlight with joy and authenticity. Her songs and performances made her the queen of Tejano music, beloved far beyond borders. On March 31, 1995, Selena was shot and killed at age 23. Her death shocked the world and devastated millions of fans. Selena's spirit still shines through her music, her smile, and the love that never faded. Christina Grimmie was a singer whose voice and kindness touched an entire digital generation. She mattered because she showed that talent and humility could coexist. From YouTube to The Voice, her journey inspired young dreamers everywhere. On June 10, 2016, Christina was shot and killed at age 22 while meeting fans. Her death shattered hearts around the world. Bar Christina's legacy lives on in her music and in the kindness she gave freely. Dimebag Darrell was a legendary guitarist whose sound defined modern metal. He mattered because his music connected fans through raw energy and passion. BR, as a member of Pantera, his riffs became iconic and influential. On December 8, 2004, Dimebag was shot and killed at age 38 while performing on stage. His death stunned the music world. Dimebag's spirit lives on every time his guitar roars through speakers worldwide. Sophie Toscan Duplantier was a film producer whose life blended creativity and elegance. She mattered because she represented artistry beyond the spotlight. Her work and presence were deeply respected in film circles. On December 23, 1996, Sophie was murdered at age 39. Her death became one of the most haunting unresolved cases. Sophie is remembered with dignity, grace, and unanswered questions. Mia Zapata was a singer whose raw voice defined the grunge movement. She mattered because she brought honesty and intensity to her music. As the lead singer of the Gits, her work earned deep respect in underground music scenes. On July 7, 1993, Mia was murdered at age 27. Her death shook the music community. Mia's legacy remains fierce, authentic, and unforgettable. King Von was a rising musician whose storytelling reflected real-life struggles. He mattered because his voice resonated with those rarely heard. His music gained widespread attention for its raw honesty and narrative depth. On November 6, 2020, King Von was shot and killed at age 26. His death ended a career just beginning to rise. King Von is remembered for his truth and the stories he left behind. Betty Shabazz was a powerful author and speaker whose life was shaped by resilience. She mattered because she carried history, strength, and dignity through immense loss. She dedicated her life to education, justice, and healing. On June 23, 1997, Betty died at age 61 from injuries caused by arson. Her passing deeply saddened those who admired her courage. Betty Shabazz's legacy remains one of strength, survival, and unwavering grace. Though their lives ended in tragedy, their legacies never did. Their voices, performances, and stories continue to live on, in music, in film, and in memory. At Celebrity Tribute Hub, we honor them always. Tell us below, which legend touched your heart the most?